Hi, I'm Star Jones. Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I'm proud to introduce you to Burt Tillman, who's an attorney and has built his legal practice based on a reputation of honesty and credibility. Counselor, it's such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Star. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. And as a recovering lawyer myself, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you came to be involved in the law?
Well, to be honest, kicking and screaming. My father was quite an accomplished lawyer, and I had three sisters, and it was assumed that that would be my path. And a lot of the things I did in school and that indicated that. So I said no. So when I graduated from Emory University, I went into the corporate world. And after about 5 years, I realized maybe that law school thing is a pretty good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to law school. I graduated, and 40 years later, I'm here.
So what ignited your passion for the law?
Well, I think it was the humanity involved, the getting involved in the humanity in the practice that I have. And I did it first for the first 10 years of my practice for the insurance side of the question, the insurance companies, and then switched over to representing different parties in workers' compensation, personal injury cases, and that kind of thing. It's all medically related. It just was such a human thing, and that really spoke to me. And what we accomplished per case just made me feel good about what I do.
So just so that we're really clear, I would love for the audience to know, tell me a little bit more about the legal field that you specialize in.
Well, primarily I'm one of the sort of deans of workers' comp in Georgia. I do a lot of speaking on that. I do a lot of mentoring on that, and I've been doing that for a long time. We have seminars, and I've been a feature speaker many, many times, and which, of course, is work-related injuries, some of which are dramatically severe, and some of which are not so severe.
You know, I complimented you before we began on being a Southern gentleman. And I know that one of the things that is indicative of a Southern gentleman is a connection to the community. So let me ask you, how do you stay connected to the community?
Well, to the legal community, it's through my involvement in the seminars, in teaching, in mentoring, and that sort of thing. And then other than that, I'm involved in certain charitable organizations like the Atlanta Boys Choir, something called Kids Chance, which is a scholarship program for kids whose parents have been killed in work-related accidents, and gotten awards from that. And so it's just staying involved. Sometimes you can bridge the gap between the practice and the community in that way.
And Bert, I understand that you do some work with medical professionals in orthopedics and neurology.
The practice really is primarily focused on orthopedics and neurosurgery and neurology, yes, with a healthy dose of psychology and psychiatry as well.
And that's interesting because now you're working with other professionals in order to achieve a particular outcome. So in your opinion, what's the most satisfying aspect of your profession?
One of the most satisfying things is just making sure that the insurance companies bent to fashion a case by manipulating the medical just does not happen.
You know, that's, again, goes back to how I introduced you. Your reputation in the community and in the legal community is one of honesty and credibility. And I would assume that means those two things are a part of your core values. Am I correct?
All I really have to sell is my reputation. And that is based on those qualities of credibility and authenticity and knowledge of the area. So I've worked with the insurance industry for the first 10 or 11 years of my practice. I know a lot of these people. I've certainly worked with them ever since. And if I can't convince them that what I am telling them is the way this case is going to unfold and happen, then I can't be of maximum benefit to my client. So it's built on relationships. And I have great relationships with the adjusters and the insurance industry. And without that, if you're going to just be hellfire and damnation all the time, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to, because there are a lot of times that I need an adjuster to reach across to me. There are a lot of times they need me to reach across to them. And that give and take is what makes the whole thing work.
Well, not disclosing any attorney-client information, can you share some notable cases where your work was essential in securing a favorable outcome?
I had one, for instance, with a lady in Middle Georgia, and it was a very serious, it was a real injury, but not life-changing. And we got it resolved, and she was so grateful, sent me a present, all that sort of stuff. And then again, it's another thing of the human interaction. I try very hard, even though I represent clients all over the state of Georgia, to meet them, to get out and meet them and know who they are and they know who I am, to build that relationship of trust and credibility. And that is enormously satisfying.
How would you describe yourself as a legal professional?
Well, certainly, hopefully with those terms, but also with the knowledge on the part of those on the other side that I am a fierce advocate for those values. And we're not gonna do this in a way that is not celebrating those things. So I am known as a fierce advocate. I will go to court. I know the judges well. They know me and like me, and people know that they know me and like me and find me credible. And so they're going to think twice about taking some crap to a court.
Burt, I understand that your practice has also expanded into the mediation area. And I'm thinking in this pandemic time, which I call the new normal, how has your mediation practice changed a bit?
Well, of course, doing what we're doing now, Zoom is a big part of it because people are a little nervous about all being in one big room together. Mm-hmm. However, I'm not always a major fan of Zoom in mediation because I think, particularly as to the injured party, I need to be present with them. They need to understand that it's important, that they are important, and that the resolution of this is important. Also, it's important that I bring the power of my personality, if you will, or my credibility or whatever to the table so that sometimes when I have to tell them not what they necessarily want to hear, that it will carry the day and that they'll feel okay about it, So
this new normal has definitely changed the interpersonal dynamic, but I appreciate your efforts in making sure you still stay connected to your client and connected to their cause. That's very, very important for any attorney who is practicing. This is a feature to highlight what's important to you in your personal and professional life. So what would be the one thing you'd like the viewer of this video feature to walk away with?
Well, again, I think it's knowing that I will be their fierce advocate and knowing that I will celebrate their humanity.
Really and truly, that is all any attorney should be able to do for their client, to remember that they're there to serve them, but to serve them with integrity, with honesty, and with credibility. And sir, I thank you so very much for being the kind of attorney that the rest of us hope people think the same about us.